of you, though, expecting the Knights to get the job done. Probably agreeing with that one. Just a quick little tidbit, though, and I really want to get this one out, Guz, is how far this wildcard roster has now changed. Pat is the only player left from Six Masters 2020 that is still on the roster.
Is that a Xenox fun fact?
That is indeed a Xenox fun fact.
That was actually a pretty good fact.
Yeah, it's staggering how much this roster, this great roster from 2020, has evaporated so quickly.
So yeah, you take away one card and the house tumbles, right? I think that was probably one way in which to describe the downfall of Wildcard, but now is their opportunity to start bouncing back. They fought really hard in relegations to earn their position, to retain their position back in the league. And they'll be looking to make a statement and take this roster onto new heights. In terms of the bans as they play out, nothing particularly standing out. Flores is maybe the only one that's a little bit left of field, but those Rotero drones so powerful in being able to clear drones. Jackal as well on the attack. Potent, as we saw in the last map of Bank, in clearing roams as well, and really locking down the defense. AVG will be the first side of choice here for Wildcard as they start on the defense. And yeah, super keen to get our teeth into this one.
Yeah, and obviously there's going to be a lot of eyes on Steegs, a lot of eyes on Quiz, and the same obviously for OJ and Cairo. But I think in some ways you almost need to keep eyes on the older heads, the ones that have been on their respective teams for obviously quite some time now, you know, and what they're going to have to do. I think more for Wildcard, you know, Molosca, Vinny, Pat, they've been through the trenches. They've been through what was a very lean 2021. And in their case, it's almost like, can OJ and Cairo help get us back to where this team was in the past? For the Knights, it's more like, I guess, sort of just trying to rejuvenate the roster to also basically do the same thing, but they just didn't have the same lows that Wildcard did.
And a quick little Guz fun fact, OJ was on the Rafflecopter roster that Wildcard actually defeated to retain their spot in the league. So in a way, OJ lost to then stay or get upgraded to APAC South in a weird roundabout way. So that's a funny little storyline.
I'm sorry, but that was set on the desk.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Well, look, I'm a man of the people. Not everyone will watch the desk or
that's true.
Be around. Maybe they went away to grab a drink of water. That's perfectly fine. If you do that, that's cool.
Just repeating.
That's why I'm here, just to make sure everyone's across the bases.
Yeah, we are a team, of course. You know, we want to highlight our wonderful desk and what they were able to sort of bring to the picture, and that's all you're doing. You just, you know.
Yeah. I guess I did brand it as a Guz fun fact, so maybe that was a bit disingenuous.
It's an APAC South fun fact. Let's get into it here on Villa, though. Wildcard on the defense. Knights attacking. Cairo, a fantastic player, of course, previously on Overt, and very frag heavy. You can expect Cairo to find eliminations for Wildcard. I think for OJ as well, playing probably somewhat of a position where, I don't know, I don't want to say support role, Guz, but maybe not hard fragger.
Cairo will be looking to balance both of those roles on the red stairs position, looking to frag out and maybe withstand the push here from the Knights, but also looking to support his team and create a bit of a buffer for the likes of the 90 corridor, which he has a great position to oversee at the moment. Juicy, though, he's clued in. Has an inkling that someone might be on this red stairs position. Has 2 grenades that he could play into, but opts not to use those as of yet. Cairo looking to play a little bit more passive here, not wanting to give away that early pick, and can do a really good job here in absorbing some of this utility.
I do wonder if Juicy's gone for the won't shave until they win approach. You reckon that might be a factor?
Maybe.
For the record, they have not won a game since the 20th of November last year, and I'd say that's about the beard length.
That's a really good fun fact.
That is probably the length of Juicy. Well, I think maybe he wants to shave. He gets the headshot onto Vincier. Welcome to 2022, Vinny. It's a headshot. It's Juicy. It's a minute left in the opening round.
That chin's getting a bit itchy. He's getting sick of it. Wants to depart from the beard. Milo down below looks to find Josh with a nitro cell, but doesn't quite position that as well as he could have. Josh, now aware, holds down the line over towards Bot Brown to prevent the mute from rotating back up above. Stiggs elsewhere, piles on the pain, and Wildcard, not the best of starts.
Yeah, just getting picked apart right now. Knights just playing the basics pretty well. That's a nice little peek from Molosca. That's a bit of a rank specialist move. Juicy gets a second in the round by eliminating Pat, and just like that, the round's over. It's the Juicy show to start with here in the opening round.
The Don, as he is more affectionately known locally, as he such a strong presence for this team. We often previously had a lot of interviews with him, got a good insight as to how the team operates, and keen to see how that changes over the course of this year.
You know what's interesting about this little little matchup between these two teams. Despite the struggles of Wildcard in 2021, they are actually on a winning streak and haven't lost since the 15th of October. So that being OCN relegations and APAC South relegations, which they were amazing in both of them. Whereas obviously for the Knights, they ended 2021 in a very, very poor fashion. Big loss streaks and just generally not being able to find wins. After what was an okay stage 1, stage 2, they were kind of obviously thereabouts. I mean, stage 2 was actually really good, but the point is, coming into 2022, you kind of throw all of that out the window a little bit. For Wildcard, maybe they don't want to throw out that relegation form, though.
Yeah, I mean, just holistically for the entire league, it's such a reset point at the moment. I think there's just been too much change across the board to really give a lot of weight to previous results. Yes, there needs to be to some extent because some are stronger than others, some have had less change than others, etc. But when everything's sort of been mashed up, shuffled around, and kind of thrown out the window from last year to an extent, you have to go in with a fresh mind. And who knows? One of these teams, who knows? They could finish first and we'll be shipping them off to the major automatically. You just don't know at this point in time.
You could say that for probably most of the teams in APAC South. Remembering last year, it was arguably the closest region globally when it came to the points distribution of the standings. So very close region last year. We'll see if that happens again in 2022. Very successful opening round for the Knights as we head into a second go of things for Wildcard. Over to Stat Trophy here, and Juicy's already got full 90 control. 3-0 start. It's a good start for the Knights. We'll see if they can continue that here in the second, and he is just getting free look.
Yeah. This is very dangerous.
He just keeps going. They have no idea. Oh, now they do.
Oh, he missed.
First shot's not great. The second shot, the response is great, and he gets the play inside of Astro. That's OJ. He gets absolutely taken down, and now for the count by Sage. Cairo got the trade, but that's probably the round. I mean, Stig's going for the plant even, but Cairo actually gets a double. Vinny opens things, and he gets a double too. Just like that, 4 quick kills for Wildcard. Now it's only Juicy, the guy that started it all, now needs to end it all for the Knights.
A lot of weight on his shoulders. It was a nice little play to open things up, but maybe a little bit overzealous from the Knights, attempting that plant, and they had plenty of time to reconsider their options. Juicy pushes forward, and he's shut down by Cairo. It's 2 for him, it's 2 for Vinny.
It's 3 for Cairo, wasn't it?
For Wildcard. It may well have been. I know we got the Nitro.
I'm almost certain of it, guys, and when I'm certain, I'm probably wrong.
You are good with numbers, not.
No. What a response, though. I think that was the biggest takeaway. Wildcard in 2021, they collapsed there. They lose that round easily. And I think that's the difference that we need to see from them this year. To put it plain and simple, being able to stay in rounds, to fight back in these rounds. Really good hold from Vinny, and Cairo was a big factor. Indeed, got the 3K, guys, so I was right about that one. And he is such a talented player as well. So I think a really, really big pickup for Wildcard. Someone that probably won't give up on a round, will fight tooth and nail till the end, and that's what they need.
Yeah, purely from a personal perspective, I do have my reservations on Cairo, but I think a lot of that stems from I just really didn't get to watch a whole lot of him. I only played a single stage of OCN when we would have casted him, and outside of that it was OCL, so only catching glimpses here or there. But clearly Wildcard, they're onto something. I have no doubt they've probably trialed a whole bunch of players over the course of the off-season, and it was a pretty open transfer market. There are a lot of players out there looking for a home, so Wildcard had plenty of viable options, I would assume, that they could explore, and it seems like they've landed on Cairo, and a really good round there to bring back that round. Props to Vinny as well. He was under quite a bit of pressure and played a key role in shutting down that sort of second push that came through from the Knights, and he's a player that I think overall has probably been underperforming from where his potential sort of lies.
And that's Wildcard's hope for this year, though. Oh, hello, Cairo. He just wants more of the plaudits.
Oh, my.
He just shuts down Quiz. Well, it wasn't too long ago. That would have been happening in OCL. Between those two players, that would have been, stage 2 last year?
Yep.
So what a rise for both of them, and Cairo getting the upper hand there. But I think that's, again, tapping into what Wildcard need this year is backbone and the ability to hold their ground, go into games and just feeling like they can win, having confidence. And that's probably where you get players like Cairo and OJ, and I think honestly they can bring that to this roster. And then you kind of hope that refills the confidence of someone like Pat, who's obviously been on such a great roster, then the lows of what happened to Wildcard the last 2 years, or last year, and now obviously the rise of it. So we'll see if that takes place. 5-4, decent start here in the third for Wildcard. With Quiz Gaunt, no adrenal surges from that Finker.
Cairo clearly sharp. Once again, holding red stairs. A key position for the cross, but Sage has already made it past. Now apply a little bit of pressure over towards 90 and hold down long. The Knights just getting a feel for when they can push forward. Milo again rendering aid down below. Quite aggressive from Wildcard on the vert. I believe Pat as well as on Brown stairs. So we'll have to see sort of how this unravels, if it unravels, or whether or not they can hold down these key spots.
Oh, timing. Josh peeks it just as Milo falls away, and then Cairo loses at Brown stairs, and it provides an opening now for the Knights. And intel at least for Milo to know where Josh is actually located, and Milo just might catch him from library.
Oh.
May not be. Oh, he doesn't know he's actually in.
No.
That could be the difference maker. Although, fortunately, I don't think that Josh knows that Milo's in library anyway, but he just walks up Brown stairs. Milo has no idea. Now he'll swing it. Now he'll peek it. Now he'll get the easy kill. 4-1. Wildcard take it. Pat gets the final kill of the round. It's a game of inches at times, guys.
Yeah, really good shutdown there from Wildcard. They're playing the staircases particularly well. A bit of aggression from Pat over towards Brown to get one of the opening kills. Sort of steamrolled a bit from there. Red was clearly quite tricky to clear, and Cairo's doing a good job in soaking up some time and utility on that position. And then Milo as well, sort of bouncing between the two. Wherever the heat is, he's kind of going towards it to try and extinguish it. Doing a really good job. Timing not great for him on that final pick, but it didn't really matter in the end anyway. Able to clean it up. And we head over towards Kitchen now to see if Wildcard can further extend this lead.
Hard to really even get a gauge in terms of halftime predictions. I think even just 3-3, you'd be pretty happy with here on Villa for either team in this scenario. I think the other thing as well, and probably taking it from that Direwolves Chiefs game, is tempering expectations off the back of just one result. You don't want to be setting almost a year's long worth of expectations based off one game. It really needs to just be that one game at a time mentality over the course of the entire year. But I think for Wildcard, it's probably more important for them to actually start well, just for the confidence of the team. But then you could easily sit back and say, well, for the Knights, if their aspirations are to win the stage, you can't be dropping these kind of games. So then all of a sudden, as much as you want to take away some of the responsibility of this game, you almost can't, because you just don't get that many games per stage.
Kaid being employed here by Wildcard for round number 4. A real counter, or direct hard counter in response from the Knights, but they do have plenty of frag grenades that can be used to clear utility and vert power as well, particularly from Juicy. You need to be careful though, as Pat's down below, but the heartbeat sensor gets lit up. He needs to be a little bit careful and a little bit mindful that he doesn't expose himself too much here, but he's giving really good information to Wildcard that there are a couple of players outside of Laundry, meaning that a music plant might be on the agenda, of course being the location just in front of Pat currently, where Quiz is looking right now.
Quiz and Stiggs playing off of each other. Nice nade. Pat was already half health, now down to basically a quarter. Pat can answer back later on in the round with the Nitrous Cell, and he can do that without really putting himself into too much danger. A minute and a half remaining. It's all about just staying alive. And Moloska finds the opening kill of the round, getting rid of Sage, who we know is a very big fragger for the Knights. Moloska finds a second. He's feeling it right now. Oh, then Vinny. It's just Wildcard one by one picking apart the Knights in the 4th round as they look to take a 3-1 lead.
How do you even come back from this if you're the Knights? I don't even know if that's a discussion at the moment, if it's even possible. Stiggs is obviously a great player. Recently departing the Fnatic roster. Probably didn't join at the best of times and also didn't peak that at the best of times. Cairo with a very sharp shot once again, and now Quiz isolated outside. 1v5 with 50 seconds to contemplate life.
It's early days, guys, but Cairo 5-2, APAC South. just looks like he's playing without any pressure. I guess that is probably the beauty of this wildcard roster. There is no real high-end expectations. They can come into this year as the underdogs in the APAC South standings. It's Vinny with a drop shot. And this is just clean for what was a flawless round from Vincia. Nicely executed down the stretch. It's a great start for wildcard here on Villa, but he's waiting until the last second, or maybe not even using it at all. Such a valuable piece of utility outside of the game to make use of, to just reconvene, have a breather, but also maybe slow the opposing team's momentum down. Great start for wildcard though. Great start for Cairo on his new team, 5-2. Obviously, there's going to be always that sort of spotlight on the new guys and how they sort of perform on their respective rosters. But I think the other thing that if you are a wildcard fan, that's good to see, Milo and Vinny continuing to play well. I mean, they went bad last year. It's just when things don't go your way as a team, obviously you're not going to get the stats to go with it. They're great players. 4-1, 4-2. Good start for them.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
Where is that music coming from on the map? It's tripping me out. Unless I'm hearing things. I don't know if you're hearing.
I don't hear anything, but I'm also old and deaf.
True. You are a little bit of a boomer, as the kids would say.
Oh, don't know about that one.
You are. You know you are. I'm the only one on this broadcast that isn't a boomer, when you think about it.
Well, when you think about it, in 10 years you will be a boomer, that is.
True.
We all go through that stage, mate. Come on. Treat everyone fairly. As the Knights need to sort of treat this round with a bit of caution, because so far I feel like the last 2 rounds in particular, it's wildcard that have continued to find these opening kills and put the Knights on the back foot.
Knights have been doing a decent job in establishing early map control, at least on the opposing side of the map. If you think of Villa as sort of 2 halves, they've been doing a good job in getting the adjacent control. So on this occasion, it's the southern side up to that airlock stat position. That's been pretty good for the Knights, but as things have amped up a little bit and the difficulty increased, getting through that next wave has sometimes been tricky. Now, last time in this objective, there was a bit of a sneak strat for GC. He was able to pull it off, get himself all the way over towards Astro, collected a couple of kills along the way, but unfortunately, the rest of the team tapered off, and he was left stranded. I don't think Juice is going to get away with that again. Wildcard will be a bit more clued on and expecting, or at least being a bit more cautious of a sneak strat. So we'll have to see if Knights can step it up to another level, because not only can they not rely on that, but they also need to improve upon their ability to get in towards the objective and actually trade out picks.
Slow start for Josh. Know what he's capable of, and super talented player. It's only game 1 though of the year. Not only that, it's only 3-1. Still a long way back into this. A long way to go if you're wildcard. Gaspé about pressure on OJ. But yet again, it's Milo who finds the opening pick. Knights did try to push the issue a little bit more, set the tempo. Nice angle found by Juicy. 4-4, and Josh does get on the board there, get through to Cairo, and suddenly everything has opened up a bit for the Knights.
Milo still on triple ball. Look at him have an impact top of screen. He needs to try and win the swing against Stiggs, and he does. Could find a second. No, shut down by Sage. Now it's up to Vinny and Pat. Vinny was good last time in this objective and now finds himself at Astro. Has to try and hold down the Brick's position as Sage goes for the plant. Juicy's got a good cross, but he can't quite win that engagement off the bat. Taken down low, and Vinny pushes forward to try and capitalize on that momentum, but he needs to reload. Oh, the pistol, though, comes in clutch. And now Josh in the post, 1v2.
Well, that's the difference in player skill, right? You would have gone for the reload. He pulls out the pistol, gets the elimination. Wildcard can now win this round. Josh, though, super talented player. 1 versus 2, you could easily back him in here. It's not out of the question. Pat and Vinny need to play off of each other super well. Pat's going for the counter defuse first. Vinny, is he holding the right angle? Yes, he is. Vincia. Pat actually went down there, but fortunately, Vincia, well, he gets the counter defuse in the end. Wildcard get the round win. It's 4-1. That round had a little bit more action to it.
Yeah, a little bit of spice to conclude that particular round. And Vinny, much like the rest of the team, just looking super sharp. I think that's the big difference to maybe some of the wildcard matches we saw last year, where they were tentative and a little bit slow and not backing themselves in to go for plays. For the most part, it's been sharp. That was maybe a little bit of an exception, but Vinny still hit a headshot. So who am I kidding? Still very sharp. But just across the board, looking really strong. Knights are trying to, I think, respond with their own backing in their own frags to go for plays and to pull stuff off, but the trade potential just hasn't quite been there. They're always 1 or 2 players short when they go for a plan, and even though they got it down in that last round in the post, very difficult to back in a 1v2 in that sort of position.
Could very well end up being a defender-sided Villa. It would not surprise me in the slightest. Nowadays for wildcard, and unfortunately one of the tropes for them last year was being in winning positions and then just sort of succumbing to the opposition. Needs to be pretty much fresh in their mind that they need to put the foot down to close this one out. It's 4-1. There's still time for the Knights to get back into it, but that's the thing. Wildcard need to make sure the Knights do not get back into this one. Close out AVG. Make it 5-1 half, and then all you need is the 2 attacking rounds. That should be not too difficult.
Say that.
Easier said than done.
Siege is a funny game. Wild things can happen inside.
Hey,
so.
wild things, wild card.
Oh, I see what you did there. Now I'm trying to think of a Knights pun real quick, but nothing's happening in my brain. The usual, really. Good drone here, though, from Stigs over towards Astro. Nice overview of that position and rotation. Cairo getting very antsy. Please be careful not to get shot in the back as Juicy progresses forward, but he's shut down. It's Milo again for the opening kill.
That's 3 rounds in a row now. Molosco has been able to find those opening frags. Josh taken so low as well. The Adrenal Surge can only heal so much. Still 2 more uses available through Quiz, but again, it's Wildcard that are finding these opening kills to put Knights on the back foot, and they're just never really able to get themselves back into the round.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, the only round in which the Knights have won, which was the first, is the only round they've gotten the opening kill, unless maybe it was like round 2 or 3 that I'm missing there, but nonetheless, the last couple of rounds have shown just how critical that opening engagement has been, and Milo's just getting them uncontested, running away for free, and he'll now just, you know, apply pressure elsewhere downstairs like he has been for the majority of this map so far. So really well played by him. Once again, aiding Cairo over towards red, holding this cross as Knights look to try and clear that out. Nades will now be cooked, and Stigs will try to find one, but it gets caught by a Mine Magnet from Vinny. Once again, proving to be tricky for the attack.
I don't mind Knights just slowing this down a little bit, using those Adrenal Surges to get Josh back up, at least to as much health as they can possibly get him. Molosco has just been a pest right now on the Mozzie. No, nothing from you guys. Fortunately, Molosco's there to double up.
That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for the swing. I was being patient. I was building the suspense. But there's not really much suspense to build at the moment as Wildcard just roll that ball.
Molosco.
Milo gets 3 everywhere we go. Milo is there. And now Stigs, one of the newer additions, or the returning member to this team,
Milo.
has been blown up.
He gets a 4K to close out the half for Wildcard against the Knights. Double-digit eliminations inside of 6 rounds. He's feeling it. He's feeling good. And maybe just when you have that reinvigorated roster, a fresh sense of new hope going into the year, you can probably get that extra 10, 15% out of yourself as well as a player. And he just looks really good right now, really sharp. And same with Vinny, same with Cairo. I mean, the fraggers for Wildcard, basically the best half you could ask from them. 5-1.
Just feels like everything was really connected in that defensive half. They were going for roams. The support was there for those players. They never really were too threatened by the Knights, and if they were, super snappy rotations, particularly from Milo, bouncing between those roamers, like I sort of mentioned before, and able to hit shots and look really confident. 10-3 for him across the first 6 rounds. Super duper strong. Of course, we need to just wait and see how this second half plays out, but let's not look past the current score. 5-1 is a huge lead. It's going to be tricky to come back from. Not impossible, but the Knights really need to tighten up their teamwork heading into the second half.
10-3 from Milo, 7-1-2 for Vinny. Cairo, 5-3-1. And yeah, sometimes when you're playing those more support roles like OJ and Pat, you don't quite get the plaudits, but it is a team game, and you need them to be helping out as well for those fraggers to find those kills. For the Knights, though, they now go on the defense, and for their sake, they'll be hoping it is a very defender-sided Villa, that they can get this game back into the swing of things. There's a wonderful dev fun fact in our communications chat that Wildcard were up 6-1 against Roffelcopter in the relegations on Villa at game going to 8-7. So you're never out of it against Wildcard.
That was the wild card of old. This is the new wild card as Milo enters down below. This has been his haven so far, this particular corridor. Feeling very confident in this position and looking to make his mark on Juicy over towards top brown. Flash grenades get sent out to try and burn these ADS devices, but I don't really think they found their mark. Sticks cooks a C4 elsewhere. That may be in a pre-placed down below. Not too much action as of yet. No engagements. I think Wildcard are probably pretty hungry to try and get their teeth into this round and find that opening pick. It's served them well in this match so far, but not really been given that opportunity here so far.
If Wildcard do pull this off, you'll be up 2-0 in the predictions already. Looking for back-to-back champion titles from yourself and OJ getting the opening kill. Probably attests to that being a very big possibility. Gas Babe on brown stairs. Nade from Vinny is absolutely perfect. Off the backboard, straight into the head of Juicy. This is an absolute slaughter from Wildcard against the Knights. It is as one-sided as you could ask for. 5-2 and all the pressure now onto Quiz and Josh, who does get the elimination onto Cairo. Still a minute left in the round and a chance that you can bring this one back. Definitely on the defense of Villa, but so much work to be done.
By attackers.
Looking at Josh to really step up here and try to crawl this round back, but Wildcard have 50 seconds.
A bomb has been located.
Scout ahead. Josh takes down the Gemini and repositions over towards Vault. Doesn't catch a player on that rotation, but now finds himself in a decent spot. This is still a round that could fall the way of the Knights, but both Quiz and Josh need to play this perfectly.
You win this round so much that you can take away from it. 2-5, you avoid them getting match point. You lose it though, and that's probably going to be the map done. Pat just walks into games, does get spotted and stopped by Josh. Very important position over towards Vault. Now that just puts a little bit of a spanner in the works. Quiz getting the elimination onto Milo, and there goes Vinny. A double up for Quiz. And OJ's got no time, no chance in red time. He falls. It's 3 in a row for Quiz to close out the round for the Knights. Could that be the way back into this game for the Knights?
Really well done there by Josh to reposition. Vault was always going to be the power play, and he managed to get there unscathed. Then Wildcard tried to be, I think, a little bit too smart, a little bit too sneaky, crouch walking behind the bar for the plant. Unable to get inside of that position, and from that point onwards, they just fed one by one by one. They didn't really have a decent contingency in place to trade out and apply pressure on that Vault position. Mute jammer on the wall as well meant that it couldn't be opened up, and it kind of fell apart. So well done there by Knights. Again, a bit of a sketchy start to the round, but they were able to bring it back.
Well, now I pose this question to you guys. Is it a matter of don't count out the Knights, or you can't trust Wildcard yet?
Oh.
Bit of both?
Oh, that's that might be one of the hardest questions you've ever posed to me. I would say don't count out the Knights. A 5-1 lead, it's not impossible to come back from, especially on the defense. If the game trends to be overall pretty defensive sided, it's just such a hard hypothetical to unpack. I would say at the moment Wildcard is still pretty heavy favorites, but Knights, especially if that round there in particular really fires up some of those strong players to continue their form, to continue building up a bit of momentum in this game, who knows what's possible.
Well, and we've seen before as well, especially last year, players like Sage can go 1-6 and then suddenly go and drop 10 kills very, very quickly. They don't have that issue with, say, confidence when you're, I'm having a bad game, it's not going my way. They can turn it on very quickly, especially on the defense. So if you're Wildcard, you definitely do not want to give Knights a look in and a chance to get back into this game. You can go from a 5-1 scoreline to 5-4 very, very quickly. The Knights as well on the defense, you take that into account, could very well end up being a very defender-type Villa, which wouldn't really be all that surprising either. We'll see what Wildcard have. That's the new knife animation, by the way, guys.
Quite nice.
Cool. That'll take some getting used to.
Yeah.
Very aggressive.
Yeah, that barricade really deserved it. Eyes on Milo, though. He's been the star performer on this map so far, and especially within the first half of any given round. He is really been putting on a clinic in the opening kill department. And keeping a firm eye on him to maybe do something special here. Get an opening pick in round number 8 Early nade. At least thinks about it. There was a ping, but no player on that position, so that intel clearly a little bit dated.
A bomb has been located.
Quiz was looking for the denial there. Next car is out from Pat. Being very patient with these, just trying to open up a little bit of a hole there in the middle. Just one by one. Makes it very difficult because really you've only got so many grenades really to try and
Yeah.
deny.
That's exactly the theory behind that play. Yes, it takes longer, it's a little bit more tedious, but Pat knows that he has more X-Kairos to outweigh the number of impacts. That said, Knights still have a lot in the bag, so maybe Quiz has hit one that's made things really awkward for Pat to open in the remainder of the wall. Can't quite tell, but it looks like it's butchered. So Knights will probably take that victory at the moment, but OJ responds with a critical pick onto Juicy.
Credit to Wildcard though, they've really slowed things down here. A lot more methodical, maybe a bit of Wildcard of old. They've still got 5 drones available, 38 seconds on the clock, and they've already got the opening pick. Cairo doesn't go all the way there from Sheets. EMP grenade, Stiggs will just watch and wait and hope that he hasn't been spotted out in Astro. And he's holding stairs as well as the bathroom. 25 seconds left. Oh, they have not cleared him out. He could have had the trigger discipline, but he just swings anyway after the first kill. Cairo still just comes up the stairs. But has the damage been done offensively for Wildcard? 3 versus 3. Adrenal Surge goes out from Cairo, but it starts to fade. And maybe the chances of Wildcard getting this match point. Red time. Got to get that plant down for Pat. Cairo goes into trophy. He is that bodyguard watching and waiting for the swing from Sage. Collects his head. 7 and 4. OJ from the other side gets rid of Quiz. And now Josh in a 1 versus 3 to try and avoid match point for Wildcard.
Position over towards Astro, but can't hit the first. It's a big round from Cairo. That reposition over towards Astro pays dividends. Great work there from WC.
Match point, 1 point secured for Wildcard, and they do not start the downward trend of losing rounds in a row. This was a great opportunity from Stiggs. He gets the first, he swings for the second. Unfortunately, Cairo then backs up, gets the trade, and then that was pretty much all she wrote. There was still a chance for the Knights. 3v3, just had to hit their shots, but not to be. Stat trophy now. For a chance that Wildcard can get all 3 points in the bag for APAC South. I won't throw you under the bus, guys, but I'm going to just quickly have a look. The last time they got all 3 points in an APAC South match. I was kind of hoping you would fill the void. I don't know why you're not talking. Come on.
Well, I would expect
Are
a
you just-
professional co-caster to quickly find that
Are you just
stat and
that? You know, you're just so anticipating to see the result.
I'm speechless.
September 23rd, 2021, a 7-4 victory over Elevate.
I'm glad I waited patiently for that. That was worth it.
Surprise result though, actually, to be honest.
Little bit.
5 seconds to insert.
And believe it or not, before that, the week before, they actually beat Chiefs 7-4. So I don't know what was in the. I don't know what they were having in the water during that particular week. Since then, they didn't win a game.
Oh. Yeah, it's been a bit of a rough road for both of these teams. Knights more so towards the back end of last year, but they're looking to rejuvenate. Probably not the best of starts for them, and unfortunately, Stiggs hasn't really fired off. Quiz has had his moments, but again, probably not the same heights as the likes of Cairo.
I've got a great fun fact for you here. So the last time the Knights got all 3 points in APAC South was September 9, 2021 against Wildcard, which was played A1. 7-1 result.
Ooh, well, there you go. They did have a downward spiral. I wasn't just making it up.
Yeah. That's absolutely staggering. And yet now we're going to get somewhat of a reversed result here, where Wildcard looking like they may achieve a 7-2 to start play day 1. But yet, you know, this is the problem. You know, Knights 7-1, easy sweep over Wildcard in play day 1 last year, split 3, and then they finished last in the standings. So you can't take too much from just the first play day. Sage gets droned out, top of Brown stairs, Peaks gets the kill, but traded immediately by Milo. Minute 45 still left in the round. A lot of time here. Cairo looking to get rid of Stiggs at 90.
Almost does, but unable to find that final bullet. Minute 30 left in the round, and Wildcard will begin to drone ahead. A lot slower in terms of their southern map control in comparison to the Knights, who typically got that within the first minute and then could manipulate the objective. Wildcard shedding about 30 seconds off that as they had a bit to deal with over towards top Brown in Sage. But now that that's behind them, they can focus all their attention on the objective itself. Stack trophy, of course.
Attackers recover.
Juicy's, again, probably going to be a key player to look at. Yes, he's been strong so far, but on this particular round, he's playing that smoke role. And those canisters are going to really lean into the time deficit that Wildcard have built up.
Wildcard wanted to close this one out, get the 3 points, and get out of here. What a way to start this season, this year, really, as a whole, for this roster.
A bomb has been located.
Got to get the job done. Wildcard as a team last year had been in these kind of positions so many times, and we know the unfortunate results that happened. Nitrocell placed to eliminate Cairo, just got to blow it up. And unfortunately unable to do so. Quiz falls, so does Sticks. Cairo with a quick double, gets pretty much Astro to himself. Josh coming too late from stairs, but Juicy elsewhere gets rid of Milo. And again, Josh in a absolutely awful position to try and salvage a disaster in a 1 versus 2. Plant will go down from Vincere. Josh needs to get moving and at least get this 1v1 with Pat. He can't. The quick 180 turnaround. Pat gets the final kill. Wildcard get all 3 points against the Knights. What a way for them to begin their campaign in 2022.
And you can just see on their faces, absolutely thrilled with this result. You wouldn't know it, but I'm sure deep down they are stoked. They were playing really, really good Siege. It's the most connected this roster has felt for a very long time. If someone fell, another person stepped up to the occasion. Cairo